When you hear the word mafia, what pops into your head? Probably something straight out of a movie, right? Well, the reality today has gone way beyond Hollywood. In this explainer, we're going to peel back the curtain on the modern mafia, not as a street gang, but as a massive global financial powerhouse that's hiding in plain sight. So let's just get rid of that old image of fedoras and back alley turf wars. I want you to replace it with this: boardrooms, global logistics, and super complex financial portfolios. You see, the modern mafia has pretty much traded in the Tommy gun for the balance sheet. They're operating like a sophisticated international corporation. So how did this massive shift happen? Well, today's big players, we're talking about groups like the Sicilian Cosa Nostra and the incredibly powerful Ndrangheta. They operate less like gangs and way more like multinational corporations. Their goal isn't just about controlling territory anymore, it's about maximizing profit on a global scale. And just like any big company you can think of, their structure is super organized. They've got clear chains of command, they do strategic planning for long-term financial growth, and they manage these huge global operations, often making alliances with other criminal networks. This isn't chaos. It's a disciplined international business. A very, very illegal one, of course. Okay, but this brings us to their single biggest challenge. Like any business that's raking in massive revenue, they have a pretty unique logistical problem. But for them, it's a straight-up existential threat. What on earth do you do with literal mountains of physical, illicit cash? So while their criminal portfolio is pretty diverse, one activity just dominates everything else. A whopping 60% of their revenue comes from drug trafficking, mostly cocaine. This creates like a fire hose of cash from all their illicit activities, and that is a huge, huge problem. I mean, you can't just walk into a bank with a duffel bag full of drug money and ask to make a deposit. And this right here is the crucial point. Holding and spending this dirty money is the absolute fastest way to get caught. Every single bill is a liability. It's a piece of evidence. So their entire survival depends on finding a way to make it look clean, to completely erase its criminal origins. This absolute necessity created one of the most sophisticated financial processes in the world. It's the engine of the modern mafia: money laundering. It's how they turn all that illegal risk into legitimate, usable power. So what is it exactly? Well, to put it simply, money laundering is basically the art of making dirty money look clean. Think of it like a financial magic trick, one designed to turn profits from crime into assets that you can use out in the open without raising any suspicion. And this process usually follows 3 key steps. First up is placement. That's where the illegal cash gets secretly introduced into the financial system. So imagine it being deposited in small amounts into the accounts of a cash-heavy business they own, like a chain of pizza parlors. Next, there's layering. The money is moved through this dizzying web of transactions. It's sent to shell companies, bounced between offshore accounts, all justified with fake invoices, making its origin almost impossible to trace. And finally, integration. The now clean money comes back into the legitimate economy as maybe a loan, an investment in real estate, or capital to buy another clean business. This entire elaborate dance has one very simple goal: to make the money's criminal past completely disappear. It allows it to reemerge as a totally legitimate asset. It's all about breaking the financial trail so thoroughly that no one can connect that final investment back to the initial crime. All right, to see how this all works in the real world, let's look at the undisputed masters of the game, the Italian 'Ndrangheta. They are, without a doubt, the most powerful and wealthiest criminal organization on the entire planet. Let this number just sink in for a moment. Over 50 billion euros. That's the estimated annual revenue for just this one organization. To put that into perspective, that's more than the GDP of many countries, and it's all generated primarily from their control of Europe's cocaine market. We are talking about an empire built on crime. So how do they wash that empire's profits? Well, they don't rely on small-time fronts. No, they invest in the very core of the economy: construction, logistics, real estate, tourism. By controlling these legitimate businesses, they can seamlessly mix their dirty money with clean revenue, which makes it nearly impossible for authorities to untangle the two. And as one source puts it perfectly, they function like multinational corporations. They basically have a diversified portfolio. One division handles all the illegal stuff, while another one manages their legitimate investments. It's this perfect, terrifying hybrid of crime and capitalism. So why does any of this matter to you and me? Because this isn't some problem that's just confined to Italy or to law enforcement. It's a hidden global threat that really affects the integrity of our entire economic system. And stopping them is incredibly difficult. For one, they operate globally, hopping across borders to exploit any legal loophole they can find. New tech like crypto offers them even more anonymity. And, crucially, they rely on a whole network of corrupt officials and professional enablers. We're talking about the lawyers and accountants who help them navigate the system. It's really a perfect storm that just allows them to thrive.
What this all means is that the mafia is no longer just a law and order problem. It's become a complex financial system that is woven into the very fabric of our global economy. And when their laundered money props up businesses or buys up real estate, their influence becomes both economic and political.
And this leaves us with a pretty challenging reality. When the lines between the criminal and the legitimate economies get this blurry, how do you even begin to fight an enemy that might own the restaurant next door, the firm that built your...
Thank you for watching this lesson. If you found it helpful, please like the video and subscribe for more AML and compliance training. If you would like to earn an anti-money laundering certificate, please visit www.nasiacademy.ca. The first course is free and eligible for certification. I'll see you in the next lesson.